Good evening, YouTube. I have really bad sunburn all over my back, particularly on the left side, my left arm, my left shoulder, everything, and it burns. And I'm going to stop talking about it right meow. So I did a video once in the past, or maybe I didn't do a video, but I know I talked about this in the past, somewhere, sometime. And I think it's important to rehash it again, specifically since James Comey has been fired now. There was a connection between James Comey and the Clinton campaign. Not necessarily the campaign, but Hillary Clinton herself. And most believe and most theorize that that is the main proponent on why James Comey did not press charges against Hillary Clinton. Or rather, did not recommend pressing charges against Hillary Clinton. And it has to do with his own brother being the Clintons' tax lawyer. So let's go over the article here. And I think it'll really lead us to a reasonable conclusion that getting rid of James Comey is the best thing overall. It's the best thing for justice, to help the FBI become more pellucid in its understanding of criminality. Someone like James Comey, who has baggage, can let someone like Hillary Clinton get off by incorporating a new word into a statute, should not have any business being at the head of the FBI. And Trump did the right thing. And I have discussed this many times and in depth, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I like to rehash this a little bit. I like people to know the story on how James Comey brother has direct ties with Hillary Clinton, and how it's reasonable to conclude, based on this past information, that James Comey himself has direct ties with Hillary Clinton, and the Clintons in general. So, former Bush administration official and Washington insider Comey served as general counsel of defense contractor Lockheed Martin until 2010. Now, Lockheed Martin is really a strategic company, specifically for Area 51. Now, they are essentially a defense contractor, and people like to pinpoint them as the main catalyst for all type of weaponry that is created by fueling the military-industrial complex. When people think of the war machine, they inevitably lean toward Lockheed Martin as the main benefactor for such a regime. Just for until 2010, when he cashed out with more than $6 million, including bonuses, the very same year that Lockheed Martin became a member of the Clinton Global Initiative and won 17 contracts from the U.S. State Department, which was led by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And that's true. That's why when people say Hillary Clinton is a war hawk, there is definitely evidence to support that theory. It's not like people are just saying it just to say it. They're not saying it just to try to garner attention and get into the public discourse in the spotlight. There is always evidence for some basis of a theory or conspiracy theory. Doesn't matter. Conspiracy theories are usually derived from a basis of fact, and sometimes the conspiracy itself could be twisted and molded and bent to fit a certain narrative. Doesn't mean it's true, but usually they do derive from some type of contextual object, contextual fact that leads them to that certain conclusion. So when people say she's a war hawk, well, it kind of makes sense when Lockheed Martin became a member of the Global Clinton Initiative, which, I should add, had to shut down after she lost the election because, ironically, the funds dried up. Comey also joined the board in 2013 of the British bank HSBC Holdings, which is a Clinton Foundation partner. But the employment status of Comey's brother Peter Comey is arguably the most egregious conflict of interest in the entire Hillary Clinton investigation, let alone in James Comey's career. Peter Comey works at the Washington law firm DLA Piper. Hey, Piper. The Piper Report. No affiliation. Serving as Senior Director of Real Estate Operations for the Americas. Shortly before the election, my source called up DLA Piper's offices in Chinatown and confirmed that the law firm immediately patches callers through to Peter Comey's direct line there. DLA Piper, no relation, is one of the Hillary Clinton's top 10 all-time career campaign donors. DLA Piper also does the Clinton Foundation's taxes. That's right. In fact, when the Clinton Foundation scandal broke, it was DLA Piper, no relation, that performed the 2015 audit on the foundation. which was supposed to be an independent audit for the appearance of propriety. Okay. Now, reading this type of information, I think it does lead to a reasonable conclusion that there was some type of collusion between the Clintons and James Comey. Now, normally, or I should say not always, that if your tax lawyer, if you know your tax lawyer and your tax lawyer's brother is investigating you, that doesn't mean exactly that there is collusion between them. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this does not prove that James Comey did work in a nefarious manner with the Clintons. However, when you take the other evidence into it, when you incorporate and consolidate the information, it does lead to a conclusion that could be befitting to that type of scenario. James Comey, his brother, worked on the Clintons' taxes. His brother's law firm donates to the Clinton campaign. James Comey himself worked with Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin is affiliated with the Clinton Global Initiative, Warhawk. So you put that all together, and the concoction you created, the hodgepodge in essence, it does lead to a single conclusion that James Comey had a vested interest in not recommending charges against Hillary Clinton. Property records show that James Comey owns the mortgage on his brother Peter Comey's house in Virginia. Therefore, James Comey had a direct financial relationship with a DLA Piper executive at the time he was investigating Clinton. Now, a conflict of interest should have neglected Comey from investigating her. If we really want a special prosecutor, Obama should have done a special prosecutor during the Clinton administration, or the Clinton campaign. Loretta Lynch should have not overseen that investigation at all. Especially, I cannot stress this enough, especially after she met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac. It makes absolutely no sense. If that happened with Donald Trump, there'd be hell. There'd be fire raining from hell. I think that's what the saying is. There'd be hellfire, okay? It'd be bad. These relationships, though egregious, are symptomatic of the brazen culture of crony capitalism that exists in our nation's capital. Yes, I agree with that, especially the military-industrial complex. The public usually is prevented from learning these kinds of things, with the mainstream media blocking information from coming out. Sunlight is the only remedy. When President Donald Trump finally fired James Comey as FBI director, Tucker Carlson said that everyone in Washington knows it was well past due. And he's correct on that. He is correct on that. It's too bad that this information was not dispersed more during the campaign. This information should have been on the major media organizations' front page and their leading story on television 24/7. 24/7. This is a much, much bigger and salacious story and scandal than what Donald Trump said on an audio tape on a bus 10 years ago. So it is important to know that Comey does have ties to Clinton. So by firing Comey, Trump hopefully can bring on and begin a reaction for a new investigation into the maleficent dealings of the Clintons and all of those associated with them. And I'm done.